Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And this is a live edition of the State of the Saints podcast. It's not going to be very long, probably going to go for about 15 to 20 minutes. But I just wanted to answer some of the questions that the Who That Nation may have. And also, just want to talk a little bit about some Saints news and bring you up to date on some things that I've been reading about, give you my opinion on the New Orleans Saints. First off, I want to talk about Emmanuel Sanders. As you all know, the New Orleans Saints signed Emmanuel Sanders for this all season, and Emmanuel Sanders seems like he's going to be that number two receiver that we've been missing for the past couple of years. And a lot of people want to know how Emmanuel Sanders is going to connect with the New Orleans Saints. Dealing with this pandemic, guys can't train with each other. We're practicing social distancing or what have you. But according to sources, Emmanuel Sanders seems to be being a workout warrior. He's doing a whole lot in the offseason, working with wide receivers coaches, trying to get himself in shape in order for him to be ready for the 2020 season. I've been looking at a couple interviews with Emmanuel Sanders. One thing that kind of stands out to me, besides the fact that he's a well-spoken guy, but the fact that he is a guy that understands what he wants. He's a guy that is a game changer. He's a smart football player. He's extremely intelligent when it comes to football IQ. He does so many great things. I'm talking about every place that he's been, whether it was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Denver Broncos, or the San Francisco 49ers. Emmanuel Sanders left his mark everywhere that he went. And he's really excited about the fact that he gets the opportunity to play inside of a dome for about 8 games this year. So he said that was one of the key factors and the key things that made him want to come to New Orleans. So he wants to be able to play inside and be able to go out there and really put up some numbers. And I think that when I look at Emmanuel Sanders, even though we're calling him a number 2 receiver, even though we're saying number 2, he's not looking at himself as a number 2. He's looking at himself as a number 1 receiver, and I got a lot of respect for Emmanuel Sanders in that regard. Just because Michael Thomas has been putting up record numbers and he's had more receptions than any other person over his entire career, does not mean that he's going to take a back seat, and I respect the hell out of that. So shouts out to Emmanuel Sanders, and I'm glad that he's going to be ready to rock and roll when this season starts. It's probably going to take a little bit of some time in order for him to adjust with Drew Brees. Once again, the pandemic is going on, and chemistry might play a role when it comes to them kind of, getting it together. It kind of reminds me of the New Orleans Saints and Jared Cook earlier in the season. Jared Cook and Drew Brees weren't on the same page. And then as time progressed around week 6 or 7, they seem to hit their stride. So Emmanuel Sanders probably, in my opinion, is going to start off kind of slow with his chemistry with Drew Brees, but it is going to eventually develop into something very, very special. So shouts out to Emmanuel Sanders working hard in the offseason, doing his part to try to bring everything he possibly can to the New Orleans Saints so they can generate some victories. Thank you all so much, for taking a part in the live. Thank you so much. I want to give a special shout out to Frank, Jerry Poor, diehard Saints fan. Thank you so much. Young Nola, Jay, and also Stankman, who donated $5, who said Sanders is coming along, especially with his ability to fart before the snap. That will keep defenders off of him for sure. Fart man always had them jokes every single time, man. But thank you so much, Stank Man, for your $5 donation. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and start from the top, man. Let's start from the top right here. See if you all have any questions. Do you think we will extend Kamara? Yes. The Sports Talk, I think we do. And y'all check out The Sports Talk. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that person has a YouTube channel. Y'all check it out. But I do think they're going to expand his contract. I don't think the addition of Ty Montgomery says anything. I'm a little concerned. I think the Saints did that as an insurance policy because a couple years back, Mark Ingram, he kind of held out until he got some money. So what makes you think that Alvin Kamara won't do the same thing? So This is, in my opinion, the Saints kind of covering themselves, trying to make sure that they actually have somebody with the same similar skill set as Alvin Kamara coming into the season or coming into training camp. That way they won't feel like they're missing anything. But I think they're going to extend Alvin Kamara. I look at Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to be a Saint for a very long time. I'll be highly surprised if they don't sign him back. That's just my honest opinion on that. Let's see. AB or Sanders, who better, yo? Man, Antonio Brown is better than Emmanuel Sanders, but I mean, the dude, he crazy. Hey, Mr. TJ, the host. I hope and pray you and your family are doing okay and safe. But Mr. TJ, I want to say is if our defense plays 60% good, I feel we have what it takes. My fear is only towards the secondary. Diehard Saints fan, thank you so much. First off, my family is safe. My girl is doing okay. Our son is doing really well. He's going to celebrate his first birthday on tomorrow, man. So I'm so excited about that. I'm excited about, I kept my son alive for 1 year. I didn't hurt him. I did everything. I did everything okay for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Not bad for a rookie dad, my first son and all. But my family is doing okay, man. But as far as the defense is concerned, look, they can't play at 60%. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, Die Hard. I think the Saints going to have to bring it this season. Look, I've been watching Saints footage for the last couple of weeks. I'm talking about stuff that go back for years. And it seems like to me the Saints have this same issue over and over again, and that's not closing when it matters most. Most of the time, when the Saints lose games, it's not because Drew Brees is on the field. It's because the defense can't make a stop. It's usually because Drew Brees actually put the ball into the end zone, or he probably left too much time on the clock for the defense. Okay, it's time for the defense to step up. I hear a lot of people talking about the defense, talking about how they're making strides. I'm one of them. But you got to get it done. You have got to get it done. You got to get it done at the end of the game. You got to make sure that you get a stop, because all that good work that you did for those first 3 quarters or that 3 quarters and a half means absolutely nothing if you can't close. And I'm just getting sick and tired of watching the New Orleans Saints lay an egg year after year defensively when it matters most. Okay, I don't want to see 60%. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see 60%. I don't want to see a half-ass performance. I want to see 100% of guys giving it their all, okay? I apologize for the language, but that's the way that I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? As a Saints fan, I give it to y'all as passionately as I can, all right? Sometimes it might come out naturally, and you know what I'm saying? I apologize for that, but the thing about it is we have to step it up. We got to be serious when it comes to closing games, all right? The Saints have made strides defensively. They have really stepped it up, but like I said, it's when it matters most, they fail, okay? And I don't think I can subject myself to any more failure at big moments like that. I mean, we need guys to step up. We need pressure on the quarterback from guys other than Cam Jordan. We need guys that can tackle and go sideline to sidelines other than Demario Davis. And we need our corners to be where they need to be. There is absolutely no excuse that guys are going into their 4th season together as a cohesive unit in the secondary, and guys cannot communicate. For the most part, the New Orleans Saints have the same guys in the secondary, okay? And nobody's has been there no shorter than 2 years, okay? So everybody's been there. I think Patrick Robinson is going on his 3rd season. You got Marshawn Lattimore going on his 4th season. Marcus Williams going on his 4th season. You got Malcolm Jenkins coming back, but he understands, how defenses is played. I mean, he's a seasoned veteran. You got Janoris Jenkins out there. So nobody shouldn't be looking at each other talking about, I thought you had him, I thought you had him, I thought you had him. Nah, man, enough of this. It's time for those guys to step up. When guys are usually together this long, usually they're an unstoppable team. Just think about it. Think about the Seattle Seahawks, man. Think about the Legion of Boom. All of those guys basically grew up together in the NFL. Earl Thomas, Brandon Browner, You know what I'm saying? Like those guys grew up together. Cam Chancellor. These guys understood each other. They communicated with each other, and they had each other's backs, man. And I feel like that's the way the Saints have to do it. I don't want to see anymore, man. I thought you had him. I thought you had him. No, man, none of that. Okay? It is time for the mistakes to die. Okay? If the Saints lose, put in a valiant effort, leave it all on the field. I can respect that. But when it's 50-some seconds left on the clock and you basically playing prevent, and the only thing that you're trying to do is say nothing cheap, nothing deep, and all of a sudden teams go deep on you, like, that is absolutely pathetic, man. That is pathetic. That is the cardinal rule. Now, I play wide receiver, but I know for a fact when it's time for the game to be almost over, you don't want to get anybody that's put behind you. You don't want anybody to be behind you, okay? You put everything in front of you, okay? So I don't understand how you can be playing prevent and guys can just blow past you. I just don't get it. But enough is enough, for real. Enough is enough. I think we all tired of watching the same thing over and over again. Did they keep Washington since they picked up Ty Montgomery? Yeah, they still got Dwayne Washington. I think they got Dwayne Washington due to the fact of how good he is on special teams, man. We're going to see Dwayne Washington most likely on special teams for the most part. So that's the reason why I think the Saints kept him. Herman, man, shouts out to Herman, man. A Who That Nation member. I think he's abroad, if I'm not mistaken. TJ, as the Saints, we need to think about the future. Which prime player do you forecast us losing in the future due to trades, injury, contracts, etc.? The person I feel like that we're going to end up losing, in the future, in my opinion, is going to be Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams is probably going to be a casualty of the cap. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that I feel about it. Marcus Williams is a guy with a lot of promise. He's a young player. He's a smart player. And I still think that a team is going to pay a pretty penny to sign him. So if it came down to keeping Lattimore, keeping Ramczyk, keeping Kamara, keeping Sheldon Rankins, I think Marcus Williams is probably going to be the odd man out. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like the Saints can easily just put C.J. Gardner-Johnson in his spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they already signed Malcolm Jenkins to about a 3-year contract. So even though, Malcolm Jenkins is on the, tail end of his career, the Saints can easily draft the safety and they can learn under him. And you already know what you got in C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You got a guy that can play that position. So my honest opinion, I feel like Marcus Williams most likely is going to be the odd man out. It's going to be sad, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he has a lot of promise, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to be that casualty that we look at. I don't see the Saints getting rid of Lattimore, Ramczyk, or Kamara. State of the Saints, glad to hear your family's doing okay. Happy birthday to your son tomorrow. Thank you, Jerry. Sean Payton needs to work on play calling. Dalton, man, shouts out to my guy Dalton, man. Man, shouts out to Dalton. Definitely, Dalton, for real. Like, definitely he needs work on his play calling. I've said this time and time again, I feel like they need somebody else in the locker room, somebody up in that coach's room that can kind of, go against Sean Payton, kind of be that rogue. Too many guys the same in his locker room. You know what I'm saying? Too many guys just alike, too many yes men. Sean Payton, I feel like, is a really good play caller, but Sean Payton, to me, is slowly starting to turn into Marty Schottenheimer. I'm telling y'all, if it wasn't for the 2009 Super Bowl, if it wasn't for that, Sean Payton would be Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer was a really good coach. He was a good offensive play caller. He had his team in playoff contention and division championships every single year, but he couldn't get over the hump. It was always a John Elway drive down the field. It was always some crazy play that always messed him up and cost him an opportunity at the Super Bowl. That is what I see in Sean Payton. I promise you, if Sean Payton didn't win that Super Bowl, he would be Marty Schottenheimer. And in a lot of ways, he's starting to be Marty Schottenheimer. And I'm going to tell you why again. Marty Schottenheimer understood that he needed to change some things up, okay? When it came down to it, when the game was on the line, y'all know where I'm going with this, when the chips was on the table, it was time for Marty Schottenheimer to be aggressive. And he played as pedestrian as a human being walking across the street, okay? That is what he did. Okay, Sean Payton basically does the same thing. He overthinks himself. He gets in his own way, and he causes his team to lose again and again. Taysom Hill runs a 23-yard run. I got to go back to last year. 23 yards, breaks about 3 tackles. Okay, the defense is tired from trying to tackle Taysom Hill, finally getting him down to the ground. What in the world are you thinking trying to do a pass play right after that? Okay, it's pretty obvious that you're wearing the defense down. All you have to do is run a football. But no, okay, this is Sean Payton at his best. Overanalyzing. Well, they're going to expect for us to run. Who the hell cares? Okay, who the hell cares if you run a football? Who the hell cares if they know you're running a football? Run the football. Sean Payton continuously gets in the Saints' way. And I understand how some of you may feel. Don't talk about my coach. He won more games than any other Saints coach in history. In history. Man, the Saints were nothing before he got here. Look, that is the truth. But are we supposed to continuously remove the fact that he is screwing up in crucial times just because he brought us a Super Bowl? No, sir. Okay? Look, if I was a really kind and nice guy, which I like to consider myself, and I was giving out turkeys and giving out food to the hungry and stuff like that, but it turns around that I was just doing all type of other shady stuff behind the scenes, still, you know what I'm saying, you got to call me out for what I did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm giving out turkeys, but you're doing some shady stuff right here. And that's all I'm saying. Sean Payton has done some great things, okay? He has done some unbelievable things with the New Orleans Saints. But you got to call a spade, okay? He is screwing up opportunities for the New Orleans Saints with his inability and his refusal to run the football in crucial times of the game, in crucial moments, has cost the Saints year after year, okay? Year after year. And you can say all you want to, well, we 13-3. Well, we won the division 3 times. Well, Drew Brees have all the statistical records you can think of. True. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, folks, what the hell is that going to get you? For real. Like, you know what I love? I love watching the NFL Network when they do those NFL top 10s. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but they always have like different topics, top 10 topics, and they talk about different teams. And some of those teams you forget about. And some of those accomplishments that those players do, you forget about. But you know what you will never forget about? You will never forget about 2009. You will never forget when Tracy Porter intercepted the ball from Brad Favre to bring the team into overtime. You will never forget Garrett Hartley drilling a 40-yard field goal to send the Saints to the Super Bowl. You will never forget Garrett Hartley making all those 40-yard field goals in the Super Bowl, and you will never forget Tracy Porter picking off Peyton Manning to seal the deal for the New Orleans Saints winning their first Super Bowl. You know why? Because the Super Bowl is the measuring stick. Don't matter if you're talking about records. Don't matter if you're talking about wins. None of that stuff matters at the end of the day. You can talk about that with Falcon fans or Carolina Panthers fans or Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, for the rivalry standpoint. But at the end of the day, what have you really accomplished? What have you accomplished? At the end of the day, what has Sean Payton and Drew Brees accomplished except a plethora of yards that eventually somebody like Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson or some young up-and-coming quarterback is going to break due to the new NFL rules? What have you done? You know what you're going to be remembered? for screwing up constantly, because that is starting to become the narrative. Okay, that is starting to become the narrative. That is the narrative is the Saints constantly screwing up. Let's see. Honestly, I thought the 2019 Saints team was built to win it all. Disappointed in. I think the 2019 Saints was the best Saints team ever. That's just my honest. That's my honest truth right there. I feel like they were better than the 2019. I really do. I feel like they were better than the 2019. The 2019 were just opportunistic. I feel like the 2019 Saints was a really solid football team. Sean was outcoached by Shanahan and Zimmer. Gotta redeem yourself, coach. Sean Payton better run the damn football with this. Yep. If Payton had gone for two in the first quarter, or he hadn't gone for two against the 49ers, we wouldn't have lost in regulation and probably win. Then we get the 1 seed, and who knows what happened. Who that family? Shots out, Scoob. Latavius Murray better get some touches. Anyone knows how much money the Saints have left in the cap? I think they got about 10 million, cries, if I'm not mistaken. TJ, at the end of the day, Jones. That's right. That's one of my catchphrases. At the end of the day. I actually got that from, believe it or not, Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner say that all the time. So if you don't know who Adrian Broner is, he's a boxer. He always say, but at the end of the day. I like saying that. That's true, TJ. All those accomplishments will add up to nothing if we don't get that ring. Yep. You missed my super chat. Josh and Jesus, I did? My bad, man. My fault. Hold on, Josh. I don't know. I didn't see it. Hold on. Wait a minute. There we go, Josh. It says, let's hire Mike Tyson to knock out every quarterback that throws a touchdown against us. We'll win every game once word gets around. Yeah, well, Mike Tyson is looking like he's in incredible shape, man. Shouts out to Mike Tyson, man, getting himself back in shape. I ain't buying all the hype about him coming back to boxing or anything like that. But, shouts out to him, man. Shouts out to Mike Tyson, a true legend. But I heard somebody talk about Latavius Murray, and I heard somebody talk about the fact that Sean Payton, needs to start running the football. Absolutely. Sean Payton needs to run the football. That's no surprise to nobody, okay? Sean Payton needs to run the football because that has led the Saints to where they needed to be in the past, okay? Top 5 running attack led them all the way to the Super Bowl. Sean Payton just will not commit to the running game, okay? He just will not commit to the running game at all. I don't know why. I don't know if he's just impatient. I don't know if he just all about tempo and he feels like throwing the football is going to get the ball moving down the field. But there's so many things that happen when you run the football, even if a team stops you. It's the fact that that team has to constantly wrap up your running back. They have to constantly be smashing into the running back, and over time, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, that defense is starting to get tired. They're starting to get tired. They're getting tired of trying to tackle that running back, and eventually he breaks one. I mean, for example, let's look at the New York Giants, right? Let's look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is one of those guys who he's not going to, soon as he get the ball, he going to run it 40 yards. Saquon Barkley is a every down back, okay? And usually, around the third or the fourth quarter, he'll break one for about 60 yards. Or he'll break one for 70 or 80 or what have you. It's because he wore down the defense. They controlled the time of possession. The Saints need to learn from teams like the Ravens. They need to learn from teams like the Titans. They need to learn from teams like the 49ers, okay? Those are teams that are committed to the run and do not give a damn. If you got 9 in a box, if you got 10 in a box, if you got 11 in a box, they do not care, okay? They are going to run the football and dare your team to stop their running backs and their offensive line. When Sean Payton does not run the football, the only thing that tells me is that he has zero faith in his offensive line. He has absolutely no respect for his offensive line. And if I was an offensive lineman, I'm just telling you what I would do. I would go into the office, and I don't care if I get traded, but I'll be like, hey, man, look, we need to run the football a little bit more. I was listening to WWL, the new voice of the Saints, Zach Strief, the former offensive lineman. He said he used to wonder all the time why the New Orleans Saints did not run the football. He said his offensive line buddies used to have a little powwow going, and those guys used to talk about, man, why don't we run the football more? That's what they used to say. This is an offensive lineman playing for the Saints, telling you that they wish they ran the football more. Offensive linemen, like, I don't know how many offensive linemen people in the comments played offensive linemen, but offensive linemen like run blocking much better than pass blocking. They love it. They love, ain't nothing better than for offensive linemen to pancake a defensive lineman. Nothing. Okay? They love it. They love they love when teams run the football because that gives them an opportunity to run somebody over. Okay? To pancake somebody. But I just don't get it. I just do not get it. I don't understand what they get from throwing the football all over the place. I just don't. I just don't get it. What are your thoughts on all the Tampa Bay hype? Everyone is forgetting they have no defense. I believe we will light them up in week 1. Mike, what I think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is very, very simple. They have Tom Brady. That's my thoughts on it. They have Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a media darling, okay? He can go to the Arizona Cardinals, and the Arizona Cardinals would be Super Bowl contenders. He can go to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cincinnati Bengals will be Super Bowl contenders because he's Tom freaking Brady. Look, I'm not going to disrespect Tom Brady. He is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Some people like to consider him the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm not going to take that away from him. So the hype that Tampa Bay is getting, I'm not surprised by it. But at the end of the day, you got to play the games, okay? You have to play the games. You got to. Doesn't matter about what the media is saying about you. Don't matter what Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, whoever talking about them. You have to win the games, okay? You got to win. The Saints are sitting very, very pretty, okay? They got a lot of players that played on the team last year that understand the offense and the defense and the special teams. They understand everything New Orleans Saints. So it's going to take Tom Brady some time in order for him to adjust. And I'm very interested to see how they're going to work it out in Tampa. I'm very interested to see how Bruce Arians is going to work it out because people are missing a very important part. They're missing something very, 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 very important. The thing about Bill Belichick was Belichick would adapt from week to week, okay? That's what he'll do. He would adapt from week to week. If they were going up against a team that was a good run defense, he would have a passing type offense or a passing strategy. Vice versa, then they would have a running strategy. He would completely ball up the offensive play sheet from week to week. I cannot see Bruce Arians doing anything like that. Bruce Arians is a very, high risk, high reward type coach. He wants to throw the ball down the field. He wants to get those explosive plays going. He wants to open up the playbook, and he wants to say bombs away. Tom Brady ain't throwing the ball like that. Tom Brady is not throwing the ball down the field 70 yards. He's a 3-step drop, might be a 5. 7-step, every now and then. Every now and then you might see him with a 7-step drop. So they're going to have to change out their offense. And it's going to take some time because now you're sitting down with Bruce Arians, and you know Bruce Arians is going to give Tom Brady a playbook. And he's going to say, what plays are you comfortable with? Or bring some plays to us. And if he's bringing plays that were from the New England Patriots, well, Chris Godwin and them don't know nothing about that. O.J. Howard, Mike Evans, them boys don't know how to run them routes. They don't know how to run that offense. So it's going to take some time. Okay? And I feel like that's what a lot of people are taking for granted. They just like, oh, Brady's great, Brady's great, Brady's great. But they're not taking into account Bill Belichick's ability to adapt to teams week to week. That's all I'm saying. Tom Brady, 56 years old, he don't scare me at all. Gronk will be broke up by week 7. He's not the same player anymore. Keen Arthur says, TJ, are you okay with Apple playing strictly slot cornerback for us? Yeah, I am. You know, I think Eli Apple would be a good slot corner for the Saints. I think he'll be a good slot corner for many teams. Like I said, I feel like it will help him now that he's not that number 2 cornerback the Saints have there. I feel like the pressure of him being that number 2, it kind of affected him. And I feel like there are some people in life that are leaders, okay? They're alpha males. I think a lot of us have been watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. Everybody's been watching Michael Jordan, watching how he operates, see how he demands excellence from his team, see how he go out there wanting to snatch the hearts out of his opponents. That's a true alpha dog right there. Okay, then you have people that are like Scottie Pippen. No disrespect to him, good players. But at the same time, you know, kind of laid back, kind of reserved, you know, like they will give the ball, don't have no problem, you know what I'm saying? When you throw the ball to him, he'll make a shot, you know what I'm saying? That is how some football players are. You got guys that demand to be excellent, you know what I'm saying? They demand everybody around them to be excellent. They go out there and they perform to a high level. And then you got guys that are just role players. They're not going to be the rah-rah guys. They're not going to be the guys that say, oh, no, nobody won't be the leader. Man, follow me. You know, like that's what it is. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some people like that. And ain't nothing wrong with that, man. I think sometimes we think that everybody that plays sports is an alpha male. And that's not true. Some people understand their role. I mean, I'm pretty sure, once again, I know a lot of people. I see a lot of people that inbox me say that they play sports and stuff. So, you know, you had the stars on the team, the guy that was better than everybody else, and then you had the role players. Okay, you had the role players, the guys, if you throw them the ball, they might make a 3, or, you know, you miss a shot, they might catch a rebound. You need guys like that. And when I look at Eli Apple, that's what I see. I see a guy that's a good role player. If you put him in a slot with very little pressure on him, I feel like he'll do a good job. I feel like the pressures of New York kind of got to him. I feel like the pressures of him automatically coming to the Saints being that number 2. I feel like it put pressure on him. And then Lattimore went down last year for a couple games. That made him the number 1. And I don't feel like he rose to the occasion. I feel like he cracked under pressure. So that's my honest opinion about that. But I feel like he would be able to perform in a slot because it really don't demand that much of him. And then on top of that, if he screws up, then you got other guys that can come in and replace him. How about Logan or Denard at cornerback? I don't see the swagger confidence from Eli anymore. Cries, I don't like Logan Ryan because he demands too much money. Daquez Denard, not feeling him because I'm wondering to myself, where the heck has he been in Cincinnati all those years, okay? I haven't heard Denard's name since what? Since he was in college. That's the last time I really actually heard of Denard. That's the last time. You know, like I didn't hear from him in Cincinnati. So just because he's a free agent, I don't want to bring his name up now just because he's available. What have you done? I haven't seen no Pro Bowls. I ain't seen no All Pros. And I haven't seen any highlights that would make me say, dang, we got to get Denard. I'm sorry, not feeling that. Logan Ryan, a good cornerback, but too rich for my blood. Pippen sounds like Lattimore. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson can play slot corner for us. Yeah, he already does. He plays nickel right now, Mike. You know, his primary position is safety, but he plays nick in the nickel as well. I think Gardner can excel wherever you put him. The guy is a high IQ player and 100% dog. Doesn't he play some free safety? Yeah, he does. He does. He plays multiple positions. He plays multiple positions. Man, TJ, what can we do to get the coaching staff to get these cornerbacks to turn their heads around? They would get more picks and less PIs called against them. You know, King Arthur, when you come up with the solution, call me or tell me, because I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you why they don't turn their heads around. I just know that they need to turn their heads around. So many opportunities are lost because they're looking straight at the wide receiver and not turning their heads around, which I don't understand. I don't get either. But I don't know, man. Look, I understand people are available. There are free agents that's available and stuff, but I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of high-priced free agents. I'm just not. I don't feel like high-priced free agents win you a bunch of games. You know, like, I don't know. I just feel like you build your team through the draft, and in free agency, you get like a couple players you can kind of plug in, but not those guys that demanding a whole bunch of money, man. I just don't. I'm not feeling it. Do you think we need a new secondary coach? I don't know. It's looking a little rough. It's looking a little rough. But I give Aaron Glenn another opportunity. You know, I give him another opportunity. Will Emmanuel Butler make the roster? Yeah, I think he will make the roster. I think he's going to play. Probably going to be like one of those goal line receivers, kind of similar to Brandon Coleman. I'm interested to see, has he improved as a blocker, as a wide receiver, because that what kept him off the field last year. And also, man, his winner's mentality. I think he was a little bit too timid when the game was on the line, in my opinion. Seen him in a couple preseason games. I mean, he looked shy, looked scared. You know, look like they have the old saying, look like Tarzan, play like Jane. You know, like that's the way I looked at him. So I feel like if he gets a little bit more aggressive, he becomes a better blocker, then you'll probably see him on the field. But that's all I have for today, ladies and gentlemen of the Who Dat Nation. Thank you all so much for checking out the live. And be sure to check me out on Facebook. And also, if you don't want to look at the videos, or you can't look at the videos, maybe you're working out, or maybe you're at work or something like that, and you want to pull me up on a screen, you can check out the audio form of the State of the Saints podcast that's available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and you can even use Alexa. You can say, Alexa, I want to hear the State of the Saints podcast, or Alexa, play the State of the Saints podcast, and it'll come up, man. So I want everybody to know that, I have all different outlets at your disposal. And thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Also on Facebook, Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. And thank you all so much for your love and your support, man. People been hitting me up, talking about how they like the new intro and everything like that. Won't get an intro on this video because, of course, I'm going live. But thank you all so much, man, for supporting it and everything like that. Letting me know that you all think that it's okay. Thank for all those that actually, hit me up about that. So I really do appreciate that. Shouts out to my guys out there. Shouts out to everybody that are YouTubers starting out their YouTube. Man, just shouts out to Simba. Y'all check out Simba's Saints Central, okay? Simba's Saints Central, man. He started his own podcast. Y'all check it out. Support the brother talking about the New Orleans Saints. Support all New Orleans Saints podcasters on YouTube, man. Show everybody love. Show everybody support. And that's what it's all about, man. We're all one. We're all part of the same team, man. We're all members of the Who Dat Nation at the end of the day. So much love. Till next time, all I got to say is, Who Dat?